This is not an act of nature. What you're seeing behind me is man-made, and that's according to a spokesperson for Edge Home. The Oakwood Connection Committee is still in the planning phase of seeing what it would take to keep this road open. They sometimes get calls from families saying, hey, there are kids playing on these tracks, get them away from here. This is one of the specialized tools firefighters use to fight wildfires. The only thing is, while the other half use those exercises plus the new sensory enrichment therapy. The parents and students that I talked to want an apology from the school and even want their money back after buying those yearbooks. When you walk into the mall, your nose actually takes you to the reindeer because you can actually smell it. Find out how the warm weather is impacting the type of equipment firefighters use. Right now, Boris Meinrich is dealing with emotional trauma that these birds possibly could be euthanized. And they had honest conversations about their fears and hopes for police and community relations. This woman tells me her family of 5 likes to walk everywhere, take public transportation, and eat healthy food. But recently, her research on the potential of air quality and air pollution on children makes her head for the hills on bad air days. Investigators say there are still more dots to connect in this case to find out exactly what happened right here.
KSL News specialist Nkoyo Iyamba live on the scene. She tells us what happened. Nkoyo?
Keith, you know, I just spoke with a spokesman from Spanish Fork Police who said that with all the homes here and even a school beyond these railroad tracks, that they sometimes get calls from families saying, hey, there are kids playing on these tracks, get them away from here. Well, tonight around 5:30, emergency crews got that same call again. This time they rushed here to save the life of a 5-year-old boy after a train hit him right here on these tracks.
He had major injuries to his stomach area.
Amanda Larson is still visibly shaken after she and 2 other men rushed to save the 5-year-old boy.
Me and the other gentleman jumped over the top of the train, and he was in the ditch, face down in the water, and he was making noises and throwing up water.
Spanish Fork Police say a woman was in her car trying to warn 2 boys and 1 girl to get off the train tracks.
As she was honking her horn to tell them to get off the tracks when the train started to come, and she said she saw the boy. He couldn't make up his mind whether to go left or right.
Right now, the parents in this community are distraught because with all of the housing and a school nearby, they're now living their worst nightmare.
The kids are usually here on 4th North playing out in the street, on the rocks, on the railroad tracks. We're telling them all the time to get off, that they're going to get hurt. Something's going to happen.
Either running or they're playing on it. So I've chased quite a few of the kids off the tracks.
And they say while they realize that parents bear some responsibility for their kids,
you can't watch your children 24 hours a day. I mean, they can sneak out the door and you don't know that they've gone.
You get plenty of warning and sound. You know, I've lived here for years, and you know when a train's coming. And I think they just think that they're safe, that they could jump off quickly.
Now tonight, the families are looking, the families that live in this area, they're looking for answers from the city, even the school district. They're saying, you see the arms, the stripes on the arm there? It's not enough. The warning signs are not enough. They're looking for maybe even a crossing guard for when school gets let out here, or even just anything that the city can do to keep their kids safe.
Many of them told Nkoyo Iyamba what they want and expect to hear.
Deanie, there's not much of President Obama's speech that we don't know about already. He's released parts of it to the press already. Well, the president says he wants to tax the richest 1% of Americans to help a large population of our country. And the people I talked to, let's just say they're just lukewarm about the idea. If middle-income America had a sound, you could hear it.
Thank you.
At this old-fashioned soda shop.
Healthy Dr. Pepper, what size?
Where a few bucks of disposable income can get you a fancy drink.
I mean, everybody has their money and they choose to spend it in different ways. So this is kind of one of those little treats that people like to treat themselves with.
This is a watering hole for tweens and busy moms. For the store's entrepreneur, Jen Nelson.
I am living the American dream.
You believe that?
I believe that.
Some say that ideal does not include a money shift.
I think it's the wealthy that actually keeps the economy going. And I think we're all individuals and independent to earn what we want and to get out there and to create businesses and create what we want in our own life. That's the American dream.
I mean, I would like to see something done about income inequality.
Overcoming that obstacle will make life a bit easier for this college student.
Disrupting other people's lives is just not something I want to see, but, you know, I definitely need some help myself.
24 filthy Dr. Pepper.
Ann Dunn says she needs help too.
So I'm working here and I'm going to school, and it's hard to kind of have a balance between the two and still be able to earn enough money to pay for it.
If not, a speech does not mean much.
My fellow Americans.
Get the education we need to get a high-paying job and be able to really live in the future.
Nkoyo Iyamba shows us how these low gas prices are helping some Utahns.
The average price for a gallon of gas in Utah right now is just over $2. Last year at this same time, it was just over $3. And I talked to some Utahns who say they're saving hundreds of dollars. They're still trying to figure out how to spend that extra cash. When your office is on four wheels,
I drive anywhere from 20 to 90 miles a day.
making house calls for this medical sales rep.
Anywhere from 150 to 300, depending on which offices I'm visiting.
Can drain the bank account, especially when you're driving from Ogden to Provo on any given day.
3 months ago, I was on average filling up, it would cost about $65 a week or more. And now I'm saving about between $20 and $25.
Falling gas prices are cushioning the blow for other small business owners too.
I go out of town a lot. Today I'm going to Beaver, Utah, and I just got back from Texas today.
Mikhail Kotlov does electrical work all over the country.
Went down from $90 to about $60 to fill this up. It's actually $50, not $60. Sometimes every 3 days I was filling up.
AAA reports gas prices are falling because of plummeting crude oil prices, because supply is more than demand right now. The Auto Club also reports OPEC plans to maintain these crude oil prices globally, at least until the group meets in June. Don't get used to these gas prices, though. Zion's bank economist Randy Shumway says gas prices could go back up by Memorial Day. Nkoyo Iyamba, KSL News.
Nkoyo Iyamba shows us what this ruling means and how it affects thousands of undocumented immigrants in Utah.
Deanie, I talked to a 36-year-old woman whose parents brought her here to the United States when she was just a teenager. She didn't want to use her full name or show her face. She tells us she's married with 3 kids. Her kids were all born here, and she says she feels like she's an American.
I don't think I want to go back to Mexico because I think this country has better opportunities for work and schools and to raise my 3 children.
In 2012, President Obama introduced DACA, or Defer Action of Deportation for childhood arrivals. At the time, Liz didn't qualify because she was over age 30. Last November, President Obama expanded DACA to include people like Liz, age 31 and over. So Liz had hope until today.
And I feel like a butterfly, but they cut my wings. I can't fly anymore so high.
So Utahns like Liz are confused as to what happened. I talked to an immigration attorney who explained it all to me. First of all, the White House does not have an executive order on immigration. The federal judge in Texas ruled President Obama did not follow the Administrative Procedures Act. Immigration attorney Tim Wheelwright explains what that means.
There were more steps that you needed to take. You needed to do more before you could actually do this. What the problem with that is that there already is a regulation that gives the president the authority to do exactly what he's done.
Now, leaders in the Utah's Hispanic community are hopeful that this is really only a temporary delay.
The last thing we want is for people to stop stop getting their papers ready. Because at some point something will happen and they will need that information anyway. So
now, in a statement, Governor Herbert says the governor feels very strongly that Congress should act immediately to fix our immigration system. And essentially, that's where this started in the first place, Congress failing to pass a bill on immigration.
So contentious, it just seems like it's stuck and nobody can get it to move any direction.
Right, and it seems like it's just going to go back to square one.